There is a silent crisis happening in bedrooms all across the world, every single morning. It happens at roughly 6 a.m., and it happens specifically to people over the age of 80. We have been taught that sleep is restorative. We believe that we wake up recharged like a battery that has been plugged in all night. But for an 80-year-old body, this is a dangerous half-truth. For a senior, sleep is not just rest. Sleep is a desert. It is an 8-hour period of zero water, zero nutrients, and zero movement. When a 20-year-old wakes up, their machinery is resilient. They can jump out of bed and run a mile. But when an 80-year-old wakes up, they are waking up in a state of physiological emergency. Their blood volume has dropped, their arteries are stiff, their cortisol is spiking, and their muscles are literally dissolving to provide fuel for their brain. You might feel this yourself. You open your eyes and instead of feeling fresh, you feel heavy. Your joints are stiff. Your head feels cloudy. You think, I am just getting old. But you are not just getting old. You are experiencing a specific biological phenomenon known as the metabolic winter. And the decisions you make in the first 60 minutes after opening your eyes, the golden hour, will determine whether you reverse this damage or accelerate it for the rest of the day. Most seniors, unfortunately, do everything wrong. They stay in the dark, they drink coffee immediately, they eat toast or oatmeal. They are unknowingly pressing the self-destruct button on a machine that is already overheating. To understand why this happens, we have to look inside the brain. Deep in your limbic system, there is a mechanism called the cortisol awakening response. Scientists call it the CAR. In a healthy young person, cortisol, the stress hormone, rises gently about 30 minutes before waking up. It acts like a natural alarm clock. It increases blood sugar slightly to give you the energy to hunt and gather. But as we age, the brakes on this system fail. In many seniors, the CAR is not a gentle wave, it is a tsunami. You wake up with cortisol levels that are 2 or 3 times higher than a young person. Your body is screaming, danger, mobilize fuel, prepare for battle. Why does the aging body do this? Because it is fragile. It senses that the blood pressure is low from lying down. It senses that the fuel tank is empty, so it dumps stress hormones into your blood to force the heart to beat faster and to force the liver to dump sugar. This is why many seniors wake up feeling anxious or agitated. It is not grumpiness, it is a chemical survival mechanism. You are waking up in a fight or flight state. And this brings us to the first critical error. Most people try to fix this grogginess with a stimulant. They reach for the coffee pot. They pour a hot, acidic, caffeinated liquid into a system that is already flooded with stress hormones. Think of your body like a car engine that has been sitting in freezing temperatures all night. The oil is thick, the metal is cold. Drinking coffee first thing in the morning is like revving that frozen engine to 5,000 RPMs without letting it warm up. You might get the car moving, but you are cracking the pistons. You are adding chemical stress on top of biological stress, cortisol. The result, your blood vessels constrict, your blood pressure spikes violently, the delicate capillaries in your eyes and kidneys take a hammer blow, and the metabolic winter deepens. But there is a bigger problem than just stress. There is a problem of hydraulics. There is a physical change in the viscosity of your blood that happens overnight, and if you do not correct it within minutes of waking up, you are setting the stage for a stroke, a fall, or a kidney failure later in the afternoon. We need to talk about the dried riverbed. We need to talk about why your blood turns into sludge while you sleep, and why your kidneys have forgotten how to save water. This is not about drinking 8 glasses a day. This is about fluid.
Let's look at the blood under a microscope. If you were to take a sample of your blood at 8 p.m., just before bed, it would likely be fluid, like red wine. It flows easily through your veins. But if we take that same sample at 6 a.m. immediately after you wake up, the picture is terrifyingly different. The blood is thick, it is viscous, it looks less like wine and more like ketchup. Why does this happen? It is a simple matter of evaporation and filtration, compounded by 80 years of wear and tear on your kidneys. Every time you exhale, you lose moisture. Every time you sweat under the blankets, you lose moisture. Over 8 hours of sleep, you can lose up to a liter of water simply by breathing and existing. In a young body, the kidneys sense this loss. They release a hormone called vasopressin. This hormone tells the kidneys, stop, don't pee, conserve every drop of water. That is why young people can sleep for 10 hours without needing the bathroom, and their morning urine is dark and concentrated. But in an 80-year-old body, this mechanism is broken. Your kidneys have lost their ability to concentrate urine. They have become leaky filters. Even though you are dehydrated, your kidneys keep dumping water into your bladder all night long. This is why you wake up 2 or 3 times to use the bathroom. This is nocturia. It is not just an annoyance, it is a massive fluid leak. So, you wake up in the morning having lost a liter of water through breathing and another half liter through the toilet. Your blood volume has plummeted, but the cells in your blood, the red blood cells, the platelets, the cholesterol, are still there. The water is gone, but the solids remain. This creates a condition called hyper-viscosity. Your blood is thick, and now you have to ask your heart to pump this sludge uphill to your brain against gravity. Imagine trying to suck a thick milkshake through a tiny straw. That is what your heart is doing at 6:05 a.m. It has to pump harder. It has to generate more pressure. This is why heart attacks and strokes are statistically most likely to happen in the early morning hours. The pump is working overtime to move the sludge. And this is where the golden hour mistake happens. You wake up and you don't drink water. Maybe you aren't thirsty. The thirst mechanism in the brain also fades with age. Or maybe you are afraid that if you drink, you'll have to pee again, so you stay dry. Or worse, you drink the coffee we talked about, a diuretic. You actively pull more water out of the sludge. By 9 a.m., your brain is effectively starving. Thick blood cannot move easily through the microscopic capillaries of the brain. These capillaries are so small that red blood cells have to line up single file to pass through. If the blood is thick, the traffic jams. Oxygen delivery drops. You feel foggy, you forget words, you feel unsteady on your feet. You think it is dementia creeping in, but it isn't dementia. It is hypoperfusion. Your brain is essentially wilted like a plant that hasn't been watered. And the fix is so simple it's almost insulting. But it requires discipline. Before you stand up, before you check the news, before you brew the coffee, you must reliquefy the system. You need to turn the ketchup back into wine. But it's not just about water. Water alone is not enough. In fact, plain water can sometimes just flush right through you, leaving you even more depleted. To hold the water in the blood vessels, to actually expand the volume, you need a specific electrical charge. You need electrolytes, specifically sodium.
You need to open the curtains wide. We are creatures of the sun. For millions of years, our biology was synchronized by one unmistakable signal, the rising of the sun. Light is not just for vision. Light is a drug. When photons of light hit a specific part of your retina, they travel directly into the brain to a tiny cluster of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN. This is your master clock. When the SCN sees bright morning light, it starts a countdown timer. It tells the pineal gland, stop producing melatonin, the sleep hormone. Wake up. And crucially, it sets the timer for 14 hours later. It says, okay, I see light now at 7 a.m. That means at 9 p.m. tonight, we will release melatonin again. If you do not get this light signal in the morning, the timer never starts. The brain drifts. It doesn't know if it is day or night. This is why so many seniors suffer from sundowning or fragmented sleep. Their clock is free running because it never got calibrated in the morning. But here is the problem for the 80-year-old. Your eyes are no longer clear windows, they are tinted filters. As we age, the lens of the eye yellows, it becomes cloudy, we develop cataracts. This physical cloudiness blocks the blue spectrum of light, the exact spectrum needed to trigger the master clock. A young person can walk into a dimly lit kitchen and their brain gets the signal, but an 80-year-old needs 10 times more light to get the same biological effect. You are essentially wearing sunglasses all the time. So when you wake up and stay in your bedroom with the curtains drawn, or you sit in the living room with a soft lamp, your brain thinks it is still night. You are in a state of circadian darkness. Your body continues to trickle out melatonin, keeping you groggy. And because the timer didn't start, tonight when you want to sleep, the melatonin won't be there. This is the cycle of insomnia. You are tired during the day because the wake signal never fired, and awake at night because the sleep timer never started. And the mistake most seniors make, they watch TV or look at their iPad in the morning. Screens are bright, yes, but they are small. They occupy a tiny fraction of your field of vision. To reset the clock, you need full field brightness. You need the sky. The science is clear. You need at least 10,000 lux of light to penetrate an aged cataract-clouded lens and hit the SCN. Indoor lighting provides maybe 500 lux. It is biologically irrelevant. By staying indoors all morning, you are condemning yourself to poor sleep and low energy. But there is an even deadlier trap waiting in the kitchen. After you have ignored the water and ignored the light, you sit down to eat. And you make the choice that doctors have told you is heart healthy. You pour a bowl of oatmeal or cereal or toast. You think you are fueling your body, but in reality, you are feeding a mechanism that is slowly dissolving your muscle tissue. This is the trap of anabolic resistance, and it is the reason why, despite eating healthy, you are getting weaker every single year. Let's go to the kitchen and look at the muscle eater in your bowl. Look at the muscle eater in your bowl. For 50 years, we have been told that a healthy breakfast is grains, oatmeal, whole wheat toast, cornflakes, maybe a banana. For a growing child or a young athlete, this is fine. They have insulin sensitivity. Their hormones are primed to grow. But for an 80-year-old, a bowl of oatmeal is metabolic suicide. Why? Because of a condition called sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle. You might think, I don't need big muscles. I'm not a bodybuilder. But at 80, muscle is not about vanity. Muscle is your organ of longevity. Muscle is where you store sugar. Muscle is what protects your bones when you fall. Muscle is your immune system reserve. Losing muscle is the #1 predictor of disability and death. And here is the cruel twist of biology. As you age, your muscles develop anabolic resistance. Think of your muscles like a construction site. In a young body, the workers, the cells, are eager. If you send just a little bit of material, protein, they start building immediately. But in an old body, the workers are deaf. They are sleeping on the job. You can send them a little bit of protein, like the 5 grams in a bowl of oatmeal, and they won't even wake up. They ignore it. To wake up an aging muscle, to trigger the machinery that builds new tissue, you need a massive signal. You need to hit a threshold. Specifically, you need about 30 grams of high-quality protein in a single sitting, and crucially, it must contain a specific amino acid called leucine. Leucine is the switch. It is the foreman that screams at the workers to wake up. If you don't get enough leucine, the switch stays off. And if the switch is off, your body stays in a catabolic state. It continues to break down your existing muscle to fuel your organs. Now look at the oatmeal again. It has carbohydrates, it has fiber, but it has almost zero leucine. So you eat it. Your blood sugar spikes, insulin rises, but because there was no leucine trigger, your muscles remain asleep. They do not repair themselves. You have just fed your fat cells, but starved your muscle cells. Every morning that you eat toast and jam, or cereal and milk, or just coffee, you are missing the one opportunity you had to flip the switch. You are effectively dissolving your own biceps and quadriceps to survive. This is why you see seniors with thin arms and legs but a round belly. They are skinny fat. They are undermuscled and overfed. And this weakness leads directly to the next failure. Because when your leg muscles are weak and your blood is thick and your brain is foggy, you stand up from the table and a world spins. This is the failure of the gyroscope. The mechanism that keeps you upright is failing. And the combination of the muscle eater breakfast and the dried riverbed blood is about to cause the most dangerous event in a senior's life, the fall. Let's examine the inner ear and why the floor suddenly feels like it is tilting.